Greetings, you guys. Greetings, family. My name is Cassandra Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates, founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, and I am back with y'all to continue this wonderful, amazing reading of the book Pure Lust, which apparently is about to get me in some trouble because, honey, Facebook done went off and showed this whole ass about me in this book. You feel me? Facebook done banned me for 24 hours. I guess because the title implies sexual content, though there is none as of yet. And so they banned me for sexual content and partial or complete nudity. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. But you know, as they say, as the truth is revealed, so are your true enemies, boy. As the truth is revealed, so are your true enemies. Because, honey, they had a whole attitude about my freaking read. Uh, my read. I was like, well, damn, maybe I slipped a nipple or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking back through the video trying to see if like the shirt came down too low or something. Child, they banned me for 24 hours for sexual content or partial nudity. Damn, so did. Because of my book title. Because of the book title. You understand? So anyway, if you're joining me, and you are joining me from YouTube, you're joining me from IG, you are joining me from Twitch, and you are joining me, or you are joining me from Twitter. I don't even know how StreamYard streams through Twitter. I didn't even know you could stream through Twitter, but it's an option. So that's what we're doing. Anyway, welcome to those of you who have come to hear the reading of this great and wonderful, radical ass work of genius called Pure Lust that we've been reading for a while. I thought I would make a little digression before we get started. I was looking through my things today, trying to organize my life, you feel me? And I was putting away things. My birthday was recently. It was the second week in September. And it occurred to me, I haven't really taken the time to adequately thank people who gifted me either with their presents or with gifts for my birthday. I had a party. It was really dope. And so I just want to make a little shout out to everyone that gave me gifts. Abasi from Baltimore, Carlotta, Monami, Angelica. I got so many gifts. I got bomb ass gifts, so I figured I would share with you today the bomb ass gifts that I received. So I got this cute little glass drinking container that's got it's in my DNA, bitch. When it's a little drinking container, I might even put a little wine in that. But isn't that fire with the fingerprint on it? It's in my DNA with Mama Africa on there, red, white, and red. I was like, yes, true, it is. Then I got this cute little. Angelica like hooked it up. I got this cute little carry pouch that's got the sacred eye on it, the all-seeing eye, which y'all know I'm obsessed with, right? With all kinds of goodies in there. A little cute pouch with like herbs in it, burning herbs in it. Shoot, I might burn those today. This cute little candle holder, teeny weeny candle holder for these teeny weeny candles she bought me. Isn't that cute? Then the name of the company is Goddess Provisions. Isn't that cute? Goddess Provisions. Love it. So, and she got me a couple of caftans. She got me this cute little tea diffuser But look, it's got the sun, moon, and stars on this cute little tea infuser. And she got me this little plate again with the all-seeing eye on it. Right? Cool, nifty little trinkets. Then I got so much dope stuff. Then I also gift myself stuff for my birthday because I don't expect nobody to buy me nothing. I have parties because I want to be surrounded by people. You feel me? And I buy my own self a gift. Like last year, I bought awesome ass camping gear and went to the Grand Canyon. You feel me? But I did buy some stuff for myself this year. First, this cute ass button I bought. Greetings, it's Van Lamp. So I bought this cute little button from an indigenous brother this weekend that I had to have. It is so fire. So I know if you're from the South, you know the saying, "Not today, Satan. Not today, Satan." Baby, I bought this button from this native brother yesterday. Can you see it? It's so cute. Look, y'all. It's fire. Look. It's got the little baby Baphomet on it. Oh, it's like, not today, Jesus. Okay. Then there was a sister, a native sister. Yesterday, I keep saying I'm not gonna buy any more decks of any kind from nobody, nowhere. I don't care how fly they are. But it was Indigenous Peoples Day, and the deck is fire. It's called Charmed Wisdom, the dark feminine oracle deck. Dark feminine oracle deck. Baby, this girl designed this deck herself. She said it took her about a year. When I tell you she did this, Look. Medea, the priestess, Makate. Isn't that fire? Baby, she did this deck. I love it. Look at the Medusa card. Ooh. I know, it's fire. Yeah, she did that. So I had to support the native sisters. So I bought that deck. Now these are the goodies. Okay, so I went to go speak at this event in San Diego a few days before my birthday, right? And so I said I wasn't gonna spend no money. I was there to make a little change and go about business. But that never happens. So we go to this event. It was a Afrofuture Comic-Con that I was speaking at. My presentation was, what is the role of the evolutionary artist in the creation of the future? Fire, right? So I'm all ready for my presentation. Then I got caught up with the vendors. When I say I got caught up with the vendors, so all these little trinkets I bought for myself for my birthday. I was like, I'm about to splurge because these vendors are off the chain. So two of the vendors, they're like, we have such a crazy following, and we're trying to keep people like looking for us, so they don't promote on social media at all. They show up freestyle at events all over San Diego. But when I tell you what they show up with, I got goosebumps before I even told you. The dude sells dice. You heard me right. DICE, dice. And I was like, I don't even use dice. I don't play dice. I ain't never played dice. But I'm like, what the hell can I use these for? Because I can't not buy them. Greetings, Letitia. I was like, I cannot not buy them. And there were so many that were so dope. I was like, I want one of each, but I can't afford them. You understand what I'm saying? So like, let me sit and deliberate real hard about what two I'm gonna buy. Abasi, my homeboy, Kamara, the stepping raisin who just logged in, bought my first set of dice, but that was not enough. I needed a second pair. So the dice that Abasi bought for me, these things are gonna trip y'all the fuck out. Like I was beside myself. Okay. And they like make music. They like the dice make music. Childhood. So the first set that a boss bought me, and when I tell you I deliberated so hard, because they had dice that had dragons, they had dice that had skull themes, they had dice that had serpent themes. I mean, I wanted them all. I wanted them all. But I decided on the brass dice. Can you hear them? Can you hear them? Can y'all hear my dice? They make music when you shake them up. Can y'all hear it? Okay, anyway. So I'm going to show you some of the dice from this first set. So the set comes with 7 dice. Okay? I got the dragon dice. So this has 1 through 6 on it. Look at that. This is a dice, y'all. See? It's got number 4, 5, 3, 1, 2. You feel me? So it's got a square one. It's got like a little, what you call them things? A little spinny top things. It's got like a little spinny top shaped one. It's got, what is this? An octagon shaped one. Can y'all see that? An octagon shaped one. What is this? This is a dodecagon shaped one. Listen to me, know my. Yes, it's got a dodecagon shaped one. Look at that. Yes. Oh my God. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look at these. Extraordinary. Okay, so I won't go through all of them, but it's got a pyramid. It's got, and so the dude said he sells a lot of them. Every time they set up anywhere, he sells out of everything. Look, so she said they're gonna hear me coming from around the corner. So that was the first. Those were the first dice, and Abasi bought me those, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be cool, you understand? I ain't gonna be out here splurging. So when he bought me the first, he bought me the first like little set of dice, and then the dice came with a little throwing board, which is also very cool. This little velvet interior throwing board, so you throw your little dice in there, and it pops open like that, right? Cool little dice throwing board, you feel me? So of course there was another set of dice though, y'all. So I was already hyped about my first pair, but I was like, man, I'm gonna have to get this last set of dice comes in this cute little, like almost like a deck of cards, like little thing, you feel me? Baby, wait till I open up. These are spherical, let me be specific, spherical dice. Okay. Y'all ready? Look at these freaking dice. Look at these dice. These are dice. I'm about to pull. Letitia said, big ups to Abasi. True. Listen, let me tell you all about Abasi. Abasi came into town a couple of days before I had to speak in San Diego for this event, right? And the last time I saw Abasi, he came out here maybe 3 months into pandemic, and we went out to the desert. We did all nature shit the last time he visited, right? So I was like, we doing all city shit. Ain't too much nature shit. We did go hiking, but we gonna do some city shit. You feel me? This brother spent 10 days with me, like a few days before my birthday and then a few days after my birthday. So he spent 10 days with me. I'm just going to tell you, I don't say it enough. I told him several times, but I was so grateful. I didn't realize, like, I thought I was just going to be entertaining some company, like a friend, you feel me? I did not realize how much of a difference it was going to make to have somebody hang out with me for that period of time leading up to my birthday. If he hadn't to come, I'd have been in this apartment by myself all the way up to my birthday. I would have been. I'm not even going for it. I probably would have did a little here, did a little there, but just to be like, having somebody around me, it just made a world of difference. And I was very, 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 very happy that my homeboy came out here to help me celebrate my 48th birthday. So anyway, let me show you these dice, okay? They're little, and they too make noise. Hold on, can you hear? Can y'all hear? I love this so much. I'm hyped like a kid, yo. So anyway, these are the spherical blue dice. I can show them to you at the same time. Hold on. See, they have numbers on them. Maybe that's too close. But they're like iridescent. They're like multicolored, iridescent awesomeness. And there's 7 of those too. So the dude told me, I was like, well, how can I keep up with you? Because I want the rest of them. He was like, baby, you just got to find me. He was like, I ain't got no business card. I don't promote on social media. You just have to be at events and hope I show up. I'm always here in San Diego. I was like, man, that's a gangster. So anyway, then the last thing. So I showed y'all the dice, showed y'all the little dice throwing board. This is the coup d'etat. You feel me? Let me tell you. So this girl that he was with, his partner, she had her own little setup. So he had this beautiful little setup with dice. She had her own little setup of a bunch of cute little crochet handmade stuff. You feel me? Greetings, my name. A little cute crochet handmade stuff. You feel me? And then she had this box. I saw her cute little crochet stuff. That's what I bought them for, Letitia. Hold on, let me show you what Letitia wrote. She said, for those of you who are tuning in from IG, will you be able to do divination with them since you don't play dice? Exactly. I was like, I got to figure out how to incorporate my dice into my divination, child, because these are bad. And I can't leave, especially the dragon ones. Man, look. Yes, to answer your question, yes. That's what we talking about. You feel me? And Marcus to Tomane, or Marcus Tomane. Sorry if I'm butchering your name. I see your messages. My because I'm not on Discord. My email address is releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. As a matter of fact, let me just post that in a comment. For those who want to contact me for any reason, if you need a personal reading, if you want to schedule yourself a wellness consultation, there's several people that have asked me about interviews. So I'm going to post right now there you go. So you can see that across the bottom of the screen. For those of you tuning in on IG, it's releaseheartcenter@gmail.com is my email. So email me for whatever reason. If you have questions, comments, whatever, that's fine. I answer them every day. Okay. So anyway, the sister had this dope ass table with all the cute little, squishy stuff that she makes out of crochet. And then I saw this box and I was like, girl, what's in this box? What's in this box? So for those of you who don't know, I used to teach geography, among other things, at a high school. And so as soon as I saw the box, I'm like, ooh, oh, what's in the box? Child, let me show y'all what's in the box. Let me show y'all what's in the box. I haven't even used it yet. I'm probably going to use it during this eclipse because I wanted to be methodical about when the first time was. I see you, my neighbor. I wanted to be methodical and very deliberate about the very first time that I used my freaking wonderful birthday gift to myself. Feel me? So I'm gonna try to stand it up and hopefully not. I think everything is still pretty locked in there. Guess what was in the box? Child, listen. She didn't charge me enough for this. It is an old school calligraphy kit. Zaya, this is the kit that I was telling you about. This like the major version of the one that you have. I was like, it's two. What's the word? Synchronicitous. Is that it? Synchronicitous. Zaya has the exact same one, but a mini version, like a half version, right? So it is an old school calligraphy kit. Look at this. So it's got the different colors of inks down here. These things that look like little candies. These things that look like little candies. They are wax. You take and put one in the spoon and heat it like you heat up heroin. I hate to use that as the reference. To heat the wax and then pour it on the letter. And this is your stamp that you stamp your little emblem on. This is a little letter opener. Isn't that fly as shit? I know. Look at the little feather pen, right? That's awesome, the feather pen. But she had a whole bunch. I wish I could have gotten them all. Of additional pens that are all made out of hand-blown glass. I wanted look at this, hand-blown glass pen, hand-blown glass ink pen. Isn't that phenomenal? Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. Then it has additional pen tips. Like, what is that? 9 additional pen tips. Look at that. 9 additional pen tips. I know. Child, look. And she sold me this entire kit for $40. 40. I was like, are you for real? She was like, yeah, she's $40. And it was the last one. I was like, snatch. That is mine. That is mine. Now, the methodical, deliberate, when am I going to use my kit for the first time? I had been deciding and had not really thought about it. And Abasi was like, oh, man. I told him. I was like, the first place I'm going to write, I probably just use it exclusively for this. I don't know if I've ever shown you guys. I know I'm rambling a lot, but I felt the need to like share with you guys because I had a really wonderful birthday month. And, Spirit was very generous to me. People were very generous to me, but Spirit was very, very generous. I got so much done in the month of September. And so Letitia said I will be writing everyone a 15th century style 4-page letter with that. I love it. Yes, right? That was the first thing I thought. I was like, ooh, who am I going to write with my new pen set? Then I thought about it. It is going to be my exclusive, I may change my mind, but my exclusive pen set to write in my mystical, wonderful, magnanimous grimoire. Have I ever shown y'all this? This is my personal grimoire. There's a whole story behind it. Yes, this is my personal grimoire. So it's got the stones in it, and then it's got the little things where you can lock it. I don't have any locks, but it's got like the little things where you can put locks in it if you want. And then the whole thing is hand-bound parchment paper. Look at that. Hand-bound, hold on. It's big. Hand-bound parchment paper. You can see like through the top, the different sections where it's bound in. But it's all this beautiful old school parchment paper, right? So I don't know. I have had people ask me before what a grimoire is, and so I don't want to take for granted that everybody knows what a grimoire is. But essentially, it's what people simplistically call the spell book, right? But what a grimoire was before witchcraft was made evil, let me put it a different way. Before everything women did was made evil, a grimoire was everything that a woman had learned in her lifetime, whether handed down, whether figured out. You understand? Um, Recipes. If she liked the recipe her mama had, but she changed a little, she would write the recipe that she liked. You feel me? In her grimoire. You see, I have recipe pages, but for magical shit, like how to make a food and how to make black salt, right? um, then Spells, dreams, results from reading, whatever you want to put in it, everything you want to put in it. You understand? People can use it as their personal journal, but the purpose of a grimoire, especially in the old times, was so that you didn't have to reinvent the wheel. It was really usually passed down from mother to daughter, right? You would buy a grimoire, or you make a grimoire, use a grimoire, whatever, and everything that you had collected as useful or valuable, you would put in your grimoire so you wouldn't forget it. And then when you got ready to hand it off to your daughter, she didn't have to reinvent the wheel. Everything that you had learned, you put in your grimoire, and then you pass it to your daughter, and she can add to it so she can then pass it to her daughter. When my homeboy Abasi was here, I'm talking to him about the grimoire, and I was like, but we live in a different age, and we can remake traditions. I was like, you are a man that has 2 daughters. You understand what I'm saying? Start yourself a grimoire so that you can pass it down to your girls. You understand? Do what you do. He talks all the time about stuff that he learned from his mama. That counts. Put your shit in your grimoire and pass it on to your babies. Get 2 of them. That way you can have one for your oldest daughter and one for your youngest daughter. But everybody should have one. There's so much since I started, and so much that we've lost anyway. There's so much that I've learned as I've become a spiritual woman, but not just a spiritual woman. So much that I learned spiritually, whether I recognized it or not at the time. So much that I learned spiritually as a consequence of being a socialist revolutionary. There's so much that I learned spiritually, whether I was aware of it or not, in my life as a young Christian. So much that I learned spiritually, whether I was aware of it or not, as an atheist for 12 years. You feel me? So I put everything in here, everything that comes back as a memory. I still journal. I have separate journals, but this is like the coup d'etat of organized information. You feel me? Spells, incantations, stuff that I've made up, stuff that I like from others. Like there's a quote in here from the movie Cloud Atlas. Did anybody ever see the movie Cloud Atlas? They call it a cult classic because it didn't really do well at the movies. It came out maybe 2012, 2008, something like that. Did anybody see Cloud Atlas with Halle Berry, Tom Hanks? It's like an all-star cast. Anybody? If you did not see, of course you did, Mona Amy. Every movie I talk about, you to see. If you have not seen Cloud Atlas, you must see it. It's so good. When I rented it for the first time, I watched it 3 times in the 24-hour rental day that I had. When Redbox was really big, I rented it and watched it 3 times before I had to take it back. It is so beautifully done. It is so subtle in its majesty. Child, look. The movie is so good. I might have to watch it again here, again soon. But anyway, there's a quote here from Cloud Atlas that says, so this was one of the I'm not going to give anything away about the movie. The other thing, the disclaimer I'll make about the movie is this is not a movie that you can watch and then kind of be doing other stuff. Okay, the first time I watched it, I was like, what happened? What? Am I watching the same movie? There's a lot that happens in the movie. If you walk away to go pee, you will miss something. So it's one of those movies that you really need to be firmly attentive. I might do a movie review about Cloud Atlas, but it's one of those movies you need to really pay attention to, or you're going to miss it. You're going to miss it. Extraordinary movie. Never got the props that it deserved. It was beautiful. Anyway, there's a quote from one of the heroines in the movie, and she says, "Our lives are not our own. From womb to tomb, we are bound to others. From each crime to every kindness, we birth our future. Baby, child, listen. The movie is so good. So good. And I'll be honest, it is quite possibly, like, she didn't get the props that she should have. I'm not a huge Halle Berry fan as an actress. Like, I love her as a human. I love the fact that she's been able to do what she's been able to do. But as an actress, I gotta like her old school acting. Her 1990s black character acting. You feel me? But she did such an amazing job in this movie. She was so believable. She was so relatable in this movie. I loved her characters in this movie. So anyway, yeah, cool, right? I'm a weirdo, so I collect fortunes because my daughter calls me a borderline hoarder. She says I see the sentimental value in every damn thing, which is quite possibly true. But anyway, so I was like, what? Because I had all these little cool, like, fortunes from my fortune cookies that I didn't want to forget. So in my grimoire, I have a fortune cookie page. I have a fortune cookie page. Can y'all see my little fortune cookie fortunes? You know what I'm saying? And then what that is in the middle is it's probably a story I'll tell y'all another day, but there's a prophet. Her name is Amma, the hugging prophet. Man, listen, Letitia, my Amy, I don't know if we brought our lives on here. I don't think so. But I fuck with y'all. Y'all keep this shit interesting. But anyway, there's this woman called the Hugging Prophet. I went to see her here in Los Angeles, and she gave me my own personal mantra. So that's what that was in the middle. I collect stuff. I got a butterfly in here who gifted herself to me. I got ideas that I'm working on. So this is my grimoire. Let me tell you, the first time, I need to write a book. The first time I ever came to California, the first time that I ever really stepped foot in the Pacific Ocean. I'd only been in California a few weeks, and I'd never been in the Pacific Ocean. Never, not one time. I was like, you know what? On this day, I'm getting my behind in the water. But I decided I was going to go early in the morning before everybody came out there. So it was about 6 o'clock in the morning. And I went to Santa Monica Beach, where there's like lots of rock cliffs and stuff. So I went out there, got in the water, got my ass hammered, handed to me. It's rough water out here. So I was like in there for 5 minutes. I was like, okay, I've had my experience. I've been in the Pacific Ocean. I'm good. 5 minutes in. I'm like, I'm out of here, right? Baby, as I'm walking out of the water, I see a message in the bottle crash against the rocks. I was like, did that just fucking happen? There's a message in the bottle. And this is it right here. So my very first time in the Pacific Ocean at 6 o'clock in the morning on my birthday, this is 2018, I find a message in the bottle on Santa Monica Beach. I let it dry out so I could read it. Yup. I found a message in the bottle on Santa Monica Beach. Telling you shit like that happens to me all the time. Crazy, unbelievable, radical shit. I know. I know. I'll have to read it to you guys one day. I might just need to do a whole storytelling page just to do nothing but videos of storytelling. Because I can tell you, I had some wild shit happen to me out here. Where is my... And then I have one more thing I want to show you guys. And then we're going to get to the business at hand if I can find her. So I keep saying I'm going to put something with her so it's easy to find her. I was just so much. I might not be able to find her. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I just wanted to talk to y'all about her birthday gifts. Yeah, I might do that another day. But anyway, this is what... Thanks, my Amy. So this is what I'm gonna, that was the whole reason I even opened my grimoire, was just to, this is what is going to be partnered with my beautiful pen set that I got myself for my birthday. You feel me? Anyway. So get yourself a grimoire. Start talking to your mama, start talking to your big mama, gathering secrets, gathering stories with punchlines that you may need, do whatever. Y'all ready? Those of you who are tuning in late are like, when is this girl gonna start reading already? We are here for the reading of Pure Lust. We're here for the reading of Pure Lust, Elemental Feminist Philosophy by Mary Daly. Apparently, Facebook don't like the title of my book, so Facebook has banned me. Facebook has banned me for 24 hours because of sexual content and or partial nudity because of the reading of Pure Lust. Anyway, so and happy 1010, by the way. Happy 1010. Happy 1010 portal. Okay. So we're going to get started from where we left off yesterday. I'm still going to read for an hour. Y'all can hang if you want to. I know I spent the first 30 minutes talking, but I am going to read for an hour. Hang if you want to. If you can't, I understand. But let's get to it. You know what? Make one more little digression. I'm going to put some. I'm going to clip it out there. So y'all gonna have to forgive me. I didn't bring a cup and I'm not gonna get up. So I'm gonna be doing some wine drinking. Okay. As muses, recalling ourselves and the elements, women can use this threesome as a takeoff point. Should I revisit the threesome? I think I should. It was powerful. It was the way we left off last night, but I am going to revisit this. I'm going to read the last paragraph you read last night. Excuse me. Greetings, Carlotta. So, naming, unlike mere labeling, is ongoing emotional analysis, ontological knowing and gnawing the way through incarceration by lethal incarnations. An aid in this knowing process is Robert J. Lifton's concept of the restorationist totalism. Restorationist totalism. This involves 3 stages: annihilation, renewal, embrace, and dependent worship. Okay? Annihilation, renewal, embrace, and dependent worship. Apparently, without consciously knowing it, Lifton has described the manifestations of phallic Trinitarianism. In Christian terms, creation is appropriated to the Father. Restoration and renewal is associated with the incarnate Word. When she talked about when she talked about in the previous chapter, the Word made flesh, or the Word incarnate, the Word made flesh. You remember in the Bible it says in the beginning, there was the Word, and the Word was made flesh, or something to that effect. So she alludes to that, but she talks about the Word perverted, made flesh. So that's what she's referencing here. So she says, in Christian terms, creation is appropriated to the Father. Restoration and renewal is associated with the incarnate Word, and quote, love, which is embrace and consequent dependency. Listen to what I'm saying. Consequent dependency is a name of the Holy Ghost. In the reversal world legitimated by this threesome, creation clearly means annihilation, renewal means imitation and replacement, and embrace and love means suffocation. Oh, moreover, these correspond to amnesia that she talked about earlier, annihilation of memory. Remember, I said that the greatest enemy to the priesthood is women's memory. So they work fervently to attack women's memory. And I had the whole conversation with y'all about how They stopped giving mandatory vitamin B12 injections, and we saw a sharp rise in dementia and onset of Alzheimer's in people that were in nursing homes within the year of them nationwide stopping the use of B12 injections. So that's what she's referring to here. Moreover, these correspond to amnesia, the annihilation of memory, aphasia. So go back if you don't remember what I'm talking about, because she mentions all of this in the previous chapter. Aphasia, if you don't know what aphasia is an inability to speak, right? So what happens, like when you have a stroke, you may develop temporarily aphasia, the inability to speak. Okay, so aphasia, enforced substitution of verbiage for truly spirated words, and apraxia, disoriented acts such as embrace and dependent worship of the wrong things. As muses, recalling ourselves and the elements, women can use this threesome as a takeoff point. We have seen that the father's abortive attempts at annihilation, which they call creation, result in breakdown, the separation of matter from elemental spirit. This ineffably dispiriting, discouraging, disheartening ploy results in fabricated needs for restoration, renewal, and rehabilitation. Y'all, the world is, as it were, brought to its knees, and this condition is called the fullness of time. This state is brought about through a process of breakdown, battering, requiring a lengthy period of preparation between the sin of Adam and the first coming of Christ. Aquinas describes this aptly, quote, "Man was to be liberated in such a manner that he might be humbled and see how he stood in need of a deliverer," end quote. Oh, girl, Letitia. Oh my God. I forgot this story, Letitia. Girl, listen, Letitia. I just have to say and reiterate that I fucks with you. Okay? I fucks with you, Letitia. Oh my God. I'm about to copy this down really quick. So for those of you on IG who don't know what I'm talking about, one of the watchers on YouTube commented that Zeus raped I can't pronounce her name, Nemonasi Sani, I forget her name, the memory goddess, and she gave birth to the muses. Damn. Oh my God. I'm gonna write this down really quick. Sorry, guys, so I don't forget it, because these don't show up in the regular comments. They show up in the live comments. Man, I forgot about this story. God damn. I guess the reason I forgot about this story is because damn Zeus ass was around raping every goddamn body. It's hard to keep track. Damn. That is so important to recall. Thank you so much. Okay. Aquinas adds, as a reason for this humbling of man, the idea that having recognized his infirmity, he might cry out for a physician and beseech the aid of grace, end quote. Having been sufficiently humbled and having suffered almost total breakdown of inner communication with the original self, the victim is ready for renewal by the Savior physician, and for the third stage, which is dependency upon the embrace of these holy, ghastly ghosts. This restorationist syndrome, so perfectly described by Aquinas, is executed in a variety of professions, including modern medicine and psychology. Y'all ain't ready for the word, okay? Listen. It is precisely illustrated, for example, in the manufacture, management of, and ministry to mastectomy victims. God damn. In an article entitled "The Psycho-Emotional Aspects of Mastectomy" by Michael J. Aspen exposes the psycho-emotional state of his profession. He writes, "Greetings, Nura Allah. I was wondering where you was." He writes, quote, "While mastectomy performs a gratifying service, oh fuck. While performs a gratifying service by saving a woman's life, her appreciation is muted by the price she must pay for that service, the loss of a breast and permanent disfigurement. Within the value system of American society, that price is a considerable one." End quote. With no sense of irony nor any acknowledgement of such phenomena as iatrogenesis, doctor-caused disease, the carcinogenic environment, and the less than gratifying long-term survival rate after mastectomies, this authority on women's bodies and emotions can call mastectomies a gratifying service. That's what the man said. The question, gratifying to whom, does not arise. While obliterating such realities as pain and anxiety, he insinuates that the price of a loss of breast and permanent disfigurement is a considerable one only within the value system of American society. The obvious implication is that women are mere products of society whose bodily integrity is not in and of itself very important, even to themselves. Having been annihilated psychically, they have no personal right to mute their appreciation for such gratifying restoration and renewal. The obscene attitude of this typical professional is further displayed in the following passage from the same article. Quote, "Millard and Associates and Freeman suggested that offering the chance for breast reconstruction even before the breast is removed can be of great comfort to the patient. Of course, any safe procedures that limit the destruction of the breast are desirable. To accomplish this, Millard and Associates offered a procedure for saving the uninvolved nipple. The nipple banking procedure consists of temporary grafting of the nipple until it can be replaced onto the reconstructed breast. The authors found this procedure to be a great moral booster, giving the woman something to look forward to and serving as a token of the doctor's faith in her recovery." End quote. A sense of grief mutes female fury at this absurd reasoning. The expressions "offering the chance," "morale booster," and "something to look forward to" suggest the horror of the restorationist syndrome. To paraphrase the words of Aquinas cited above, quote, "A woman was to be liberated in such a manner that she might be humbled and see how she stood in need of a deliverer, so that having recognized her infirmity, she might cry out for a physician and beseech the aid of surgery and psychotherapy." End quote. Oh my God. Moreover, even when she cries out, the nature and motive of her request has been predetermined by the professional. Writing in the Journal of Rehabilitation, Harold J. May intones, quote, "Whether or not breast reconstruction is considered, the major task facing the mastectomy is to regain any personal loss of both femininity and sexual desirability." End quote. With this defined as her major task, the woman labeled and characterized as the mastectomy might well conclude that continued existence as a desirable object is hardly worth the effort. As these mastectomy managers disclose, therefore, the restorers As these mastectomy managers disclose, therefore, the restorers are also the assumers, peddling false assumptions, assuming the right to define the very reason for existence of these patients/victims. They also assume the right to cause the breakdowns, which are the prerequisites for restoration and renewal. Howard A. Rusk, MD, in a textbook entitled Rehabilitation Medicine, is quite explicit and unabashed. Quote, "Contrary to opinions expressed by some, The growing incidence of chronic disability in the United States is a tribute to American medicine rather than an indictment. But since the physician has been largely responsible for this development, he must assume leadership in its solution. Oh my. Oh my God. Yo. Oh my God. He says, since we're partly to blame, since we're mostly to blame, we might as well take responsibility or assume leadership in the solution. Oh, damn. Having double thought himself and others into accepting this tribute, the physician does indeed assume leadership, arroganting, seizing, and usurping institutional power. Yet, in large measure, this is healing power in appearance only. It is assumed power to heal and to exercise leadership in the solution of problems created by the medical profession itself. Okay? Such medical restorationism typifies pseudo-societal incarnations of restorationist myth. Jesus is one model for victims of the restorationist syndrome. Yes, 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 yes. Jesus is one model for the victims of restorationist syndrome, who are destined for crucifixion and death in various forms, followed by resurrection and ascension into heaven. Mythically speaking, however, the restorationist vision is incomplete without the assumption of Mary. For although the androgynous feminized Jesus is in some sense a compound resulting from the combination of the severed halves of the goddess, it is important to the myth masters that this reunification be presented also in female form. This is accomplished through the doctrine of the Assumption of the Virgin Mary, in which the dead virgin is instantly re-inspirited and taken up. The goddess in female form is thus rehabilitated. The Queen of Heaven for all eternity will kneel before her own Son. Oh my God. Damn. Yo. The Queen of Heaven for all eternity in her rehabilitation will kneel before her own Son. As Simone de Beauvoir has written, quote, for the first time in human history, the mother kneels before her son. She freely accepts her inferiority. This is the supreme masculine victory consummated in the cult of the Virgin. It is the rehabilitation of woman through the accomplishment of her defeat. Oh my God. Oh, 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 God damn. Oh my God. Moreover, the assumers extend the chance of rehabilitation through defeat. God damn. Oh, God damn. Oh, y'all. Listen, moreover, the assumers extend the chance of rehabilitation through defeat to all of the elements. They arrogantly pretend to give back life. They arrogantly pretend to give back life to the matter that they themselves have broken down and deadened. They do this in their customary way, by further violation of all the elements. The reason for their incapacity to heal or to restore in any real sense is unwittingly implied in the words of Renee Dubois. Listen, y'all, when I tell you she be going in, listen, I am overcome, y'all. Damn. Moreover, the assumers extend the chance of rehabilitation through defeat to all the elements. They arrogantly pretend to give back life to the matter that they themselves have broken down and deadened. They do this in their customary way, by further violation of all the elements. The reason for their incapacity to heal or restore in any real sense is unwittingly implied in the words of God. She going so hard. She going so hard. In the words of Rene Dubois, who writes, quote, paraphrasing Paul of Tarsus, it can be said that humankind is in nature, but no longer quite of nature, end quote. Appropriately, this sentence appears in the book entitled The Wooing of Earth, for quite simply, restorationists relate to all of nature in the same unnatural, rapist way that they relate to women. This unnaturalness is Christianed, supernatural, and indeed it is in line with Christian tradition. As John J. Vincent writes in Christ in a Nuclear World, quote, the Christian believes that God has revealed the wonders of atomic and nuclear energy in order that man might accomplish his will upon earth, end quote. Vincent does glimpse a few problems with nuclearism, but as a true restorationist, he looks forward to salvation in the form of further breakdown, as he writes, quote, it seems that we have been allowed to come to this situation in order that we can see Christ again. Whoo, child, end quote. Oh my God. Thus, the wheel of renewal turns full circle. Those caught in its spoke. Oh my God. Stay up. Oh my God. Yo. Those caught in its spokes, broken and restored, return to embrace the cause of their breakdown. For these restored again victims, elemental being is buried and forgotten. Restoration and the problem of memory. Restoration, the product of sato-sublimation, conceals the real nature of the breakdown it pretends to mend, and thus distracts women's minds and hearts from the quest to know elemental integrity. It does this in part by misnaming the disease inflicted upon women and nature. To tell a woman who has been sickened and mutilated that her major task is to regain femininity and desirability is to distract her from her deep self-search, her final causality. It distracts her from remembering her powers in order to comprehend her breakdown and therefore be enabled to heal herself. She would have to intuit what a woman can be. The problem is how to be in touch with such intuitions when they have been obscured by restorationist ideology. Damn. So colossal has been this concealment that even the French feminist philosopher Simone de Beauvoir, in her monumental work, The Second Sex, actually reaffirms the discouraging assumption that underscores all of the other assumptions of androcracy, namely that women have always been second. This is suggested in the title of her book. One could, of course, argue that the title is factually accurate since women have been relegated to the status of the second sex. However, de Beauvoir is more patriarchal in her assumptions than that. In the introduction, she writes, quote, throughout history, they, women, have always been subordinated to men, and hence their dependency is not the result of a historical event or a social change. It was not something that occurred. The reason why otherness in this case seems to be an absolute is in part that it lacks the contingent or incidental nature of historical facts, end quote. This premise is repeated in the book. De Beauvoir introduces her chapter on the nomads, for example, with the cliche that this has always been a man's world. And again, in the following chapter, she repeats this assumption. Quote, From humanity's beginnings, their biological advantage has enabled the males to affirm their status as sole and sovereign subjects. End quote. What? Many feminists today find it hard to believe that de Beauvoir could have written of women. They have no quote. They have no past. Oh my God. Oh my God. She's talking about women. They have no past, no history, no religion of their own, and they have no such solidarity of work and interest as that of the proletariat. Oh my gosh. It is not unusual, of course, to hear such assumptions and cliches from the mouths of women's erasers. The author of such an important feminist work as The Second Sex, first published in 1949, accepted them so uncritically is evidence of the memory covering effects of restorationist knowledge. Within the context of such unexamined assumptions, it is extremely difficult to guess what a woman can be. Within such a context, personal hope is muted, it's undermined. Despite all the positive values of de Beauvoir's work, the woman who accepts this context is mired in the suspicion that the situation is immutable. Of course, other feminist scholars writing before and after the publication of The Second Sex have brought forth mountains of evidence to support the idea and intuition that this has not always been a man's world. These scholars include Matilda Jocelyn Gage in Woman, Church, and State in 1893, and Elizabeth Good Davis in The First Sex, 1971. Women who have not read such books but have maintained a sense of self have done so because on some level we have known with profound certainty that this has not always been a man's world, and that reality in the deep sense, elemental being, has never been such. For the man's world, patriarchy is the foreground, which, since it is derivative, contains countless subliminal messages about the deep spheres of meaning, archispheres, which its myths are intended to mask. The power to decode its myths is the natural power of lusty women to hear the messages of the elements, the elemental words, to recognize these and remember them. One suggestive term which we might use to name the incarcerations that constitute the foreground, this world that has always been patriarchy, is a word used by Paracelsus. Elementary. According to his theory, quote, the elementary is an art. Woo child, y'all ain't ready. Quote, the elementary is an artificial being created in the invisible worlds by man himself. Most elementaries seem to be of an evil or destructive nature. They are generated from the excesses of human thoughts and emotion, the corruption of character, and the degeneration of faculties and powers which should be used in other, more constructive ways. Oh shit. I might need to get into paracelsus. I will use the term elementary here to name a number of phenomena which mediate and distort our experience of the elements, and which are largely invisible by reason of being all-pervasive. Elementaries include not only the poisonous fumes and radioactive emissions of phallic technology, but also the popular media and specialized fields, the ologies that mediate knowledge, as well as traditional assumptions, spoken or unspoken. All of these artificial beings are filled with the fallacies invisible to those manipulated by means of them. In mediating experience, they modify memory, they mummify memory. Yo, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh. Damn. It is through acts It is through acts of elemental creation that lusty women unblock and unlock our deep memories. Therefore, in Sado-sublimated society, women must be prevented from such acts not only by the embedding in the female psyche of elementary images and words of which women are unwitting recipients. Oh my God! But especially by the co-optation of women into elementary speech and action. Ooh, 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 ooh. Listen, okay, I gotta remember what this woman's name is. There is a YouTuber. I adore this woman. What is her name? I'm gonna tell y'all tomorrow. I love this woman. She did a whole piece on the culture of infanticizing women, right? Y'all know what I mean when I say infanticizing women? Like music that has women talking like this, like the babyfying of women, the infanticizing of women, right? How it's pervasive in music, how it's pervasive in cinema, where the only way that you can be non-intimidating is to be like, they call it whisper singing, right? Like this whole culture of disempowering women by infanticizing women. Okay, and here she says, baby, what she say? We're gonna say it right here. Oh my God. Oh fuck. Listen. She says it is through acts of elemental creation that lusty women unblock and unlock our own deep memories. Therefore, in Sado-sublimated society, women must be prevented from such acts, not only by the embedding in the female psyche of elementary images. Can we come on, man? What we talking about when we say elementary images? Can we talk about like Real Housewives shit and Bachelor this and Bachelorette that and what's some other shit? Um, Child. She says, therefore, in Sado-sublimated societies, women must be prevented from such acts of unlocking our deep memory. You feel me? The only way to do that is by embedding the female psyche with elementary images and words of which women are unwitting recipients, but especially by the co-optation of women into elementary speech. The co-optation of women into elementary speech and action. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. She went the fuck off. I'm just trying to tell you, she went the fuck off. Oh. So this sister, I'm gonna figure out her name. I love her YouTube channel because she talks about this kind of stuff a lot. But she did one specific whole piece about the history of the infantilization of women, and that being directly tied to patriarchy and misogynistic hatred of women and women's power in particular. Yup, Bell Hooks talked about it in the book Communion that I read online. She showed me it. Thank you, Letitia. I forgot about it. See, Letitia, listen, Letitia be on it. I love it. I love it. Okay. Insight can be gained from knowledge of the fact that according to traditional Christian theology, the image of the all-male Trinity is to be found especially in the acts of the soul. In keeping with this tradition, possessed women are converted into images of artificial beings by being trained to act and operate like elementaries, even on the level of internal thoughts and desires. Oh, preoccupied with elementary concerns, a woman becomes a memory blocker. In order to understand how women are caught on the wheel of elementary thinking and acting, it is important to face the fears and embedded sense of vulnerability, which are the foreground conditions of phallocracy afflicting all women, since all are threatened perpetually by the phallic lust that rapes, kills, and dismembers women and nature. There can be no genuine doubt about this situation, which has been demonstrated and documented in many books and the individual histories of women. So terrible is the lust, the intent to destroy female nature, that women commonly attempt to erase themselves in order to be spared. God, child. That's why I was telling y'all just a couple, what was it, last week when we started reading this book? I said, I am really careful about this whole concept of calling women pick-me's, because no matter how vile they are, no matter how violently, no matter how violent they are in their position of quote pick-meism, it is still a very real defense mechanism to what the alternative is for women. I better hedge my bets with men. At least I will be spared. At least I will be spared. Pick-meism is a fucking life defense mechanism, not just trying to avoid loneliness. That ain't the only thing. Women have fully recognized that their allegiance, their value, their worth, their beingness in real time has to be in some way connected to and validated by their relationship and their proximity to some man or men. This is a defense mechanism, because otherwise women would be out here, if their life was not always in jeopardy, if their right to exist was not always being challenged, like the sister who just got busted upside the head with a goddamn brick for telling the motherfucker he can't have her phone number. This is a very real reality that women recognize, not just current reality, about the cellular memory of witch trials and burnings and lynchings of women. You see, so even like what we see is kind of like harsh parenting. I do not believe in harsh parenting, like corporal punishment and spanking and shit like that. But I understand that this is a cellular memory, that spanking was something that women did typically because in their mind to bridle their children was to save their children's fucking lives. To bridle their children, to dampen their visions, to step on their dreams, to make them not audacious, to tell them to dream smaller, was a defense mechanism that they remember in their, this is recent history. This is just a couple years ago that this could be the very thing that saves their lives. Here she says, so terrible is the lust, the intent to destroy female nature, that women commonly attempt to erase themselves in order to be spared. Self-annihilation and confessionalism. Oh, that's great, Mon Amy. That's a great example. That is a wonderful example, as a matter of fact. Self-annihilation and confessionalism. The attempted self-annihilation of wives and mothers, of old maids, aunts, of dedicated volunteers. Oh, fucking shit. Oh, my God. Oh, Lord. I swear, every time I pick up this book, I'm getting punched in the jaw, y'all. The attempted self-annihilation of wives and mothers, of old maid aunts, of dedicated volunteers and professional women is well known. In various ways, women caught in this syndrome, oh my God, hope for the reward of male protection and approval, for the restoration and lethal embrace that is misnamed love. God damn. Oh my God. Oh, shh. Did y'all hear that last sentence? Did y'all hear that shit? She said, in various ways, Women caught in this syndrome hope for the reward of male protection and approval for the restoration and lethal embrace that is misnamed love. Damn. Oh my God. She said, moreover, there is realistic terror of recrimination for any refusal to comply to the stereotype. Okay? Women breaking out of these tracks can remain partially tracked, terrorized, since there are many deep levels of tracks and terrors. As long as these remain unexercised, women's liberation is at least partially just restoration, hiding a secret, settling for the reward of male protection. That is, it remains elementary. God damn. Shit. These women remain in the posture of the oh fuck. Oh my God. Damn. Oh my God, no. She said, these women remain in the posture of the veiled virgin mother kneeling before the son who has derived everything from her, begging for his aid. It is helpful to recall that the word protection is derived from the Latin protegere, meaning to cover in front, which is literally the condition of a woman with a veil cover over her head and face, y'all. That is, she is hindered and blindfolded, which is the intent of the male protection racketeers who require such self-hindrance. Oh, y'all ain't ready. 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 Damn. It is noteworthy that blindfold is derived from the Middle English blind plus felon, meaning to strike down. Oh, to strike down, to fail. Restored, veiled women have been struck down, failed to their knees, as the Christmas carol and creches, the bridal veils and the chatters, or the chaters, all proclaim, and they have been blinded to the fact of their fall. In the Sado world, legitimated by the Incarnation and its satellite myths, moreover, the fraternity of the phallic fellers attempts to bring down all of nature together with the Virgin Mothers. All the victims are subjected to the rituals of restoration. Veiled to their knees, restored women are in the correct position for confession. Oh God. Having been veiled, blindfolded, and knocked down, women find it difficult to say what they mean. Listen, failed to their knees, restored women are in the correct position for confession. Having been veiled and blindfolded and knocked down, women find it difficult to say what they mean. Aphagic, they mutter the assumer's formulae. Each act of saying what the self cannot really mean causes restoration of memory. That is the further hiding of deep memory. Listen. Oh, fuck. Each act of denying. When we all talk about our throat chakra is blocked, our throat chakra is blocked, our throat chakra is blocked. It's been deliberately blocked. It's been methodically blocked. It's been ritualistically blocked, baby. And she said, aphagic, meaning cannot speak their truth. Aphagic They utter and mutter the assumers formula, the prayers, the chants, the songs, the rituals, the mantras. Each act of saying what the true self cannot really mean. All this bullshit. It can't mean this shit. Spirit can't mean this shit. Causes a restoration of memory. That is further hiding of deep memory. Listen, confession becomes oh. Oh. Listen. Confession becomes a preoccupation, preventing acts that are rooted in ancestral memory. Okay? Each act of confession is a construct of elementary consciousness and a construction of further elementary consciousness, causing a contagion of corruption. Ooh. Hold on. Oh. Baby, we gotta get in these. We gotta get in this deep ass study. I can't be the only one up in here getting into this shit this deep. I'm not gonna digress hard, but I want you to remember when I talk to you guys, that's all I'm gonna say, and then I want you to go look it up. But it was some time ago when I talked to you guys about the two words, miasm and miasma. M-I-A. Boy, what you want? There's this tomcat out here. Everybody feed him, but he comes out here making so much damn noise. Anyway, I might have to close the door. He's loud. Miasma and miasm. M-I-A-S-M-A. Miasma and miasm. M-I-A-S-M. Look those words up in relationship to this last passage I just read. Aphasia. They mutter and utter the assumer's formula. Each act of saying what the true self, cannot really mean causes a restoration of memory. That is a further hiding of deep memory. Confession becomes a preoccupation, preventing acts that are rooted in ancestral memory. Each act of confession is a construct of elementary consciousness and a construction of further elementary consciousness, causing a contagion. That's what I'm talking about in miasma. Okay? That is what I'm talking about when I talk about miasma and miasm. For those of you who have the book, Barbara Walker's Encyclopedia of Myths and Secrets, miasm. Is it miasma? One of those words is in that book. Miasm or miasma is in that book. I want you to read this word. A contagion of corruption. In the reversed world of restoration, confession is hailed as an act of courage rather than confronted as an act of cowardice. Ooh, damn. Women are encouraged to confess, which is to perform repeated acts of attempted God damn. Women are encouraged to confess, which is to perform repeated acts of attempted linguistic self-annihilation and reconstruction. Yo, this phenomenon is omnipresent. It is important in understanding confessionalism to remember that confession means not only acknowledgement of sins, but also acknowledgement of belief or profession of faith. Moreover, since the mythic doctrinal and ideological belief systems that legitimate the lecherous state necessarily include and imply the belief that elemental women are sinful, wrong, and a threat to the established order, both meanings of confession usually apply to the same behavior. Thus, women's confessions of faith in the prevailing ideologies and practices, such as phallic religion, such as phallic religions, romance, politics, therapy, etiquette, fashion, imply confessions of sin, inadequacy, sickness, and ineptitude and failure. Yeah, damn. Yo, yo, damn. The confessions required by the restoration estate are multiple and commonplace, perversely permeating everyday behavior. Consequently, they are invisible to the penitents, and believers. As a consequence of confessionalism, then, not only a woman's conversation, but also her body language becomes aphasic. Moreover, such unnatural, disjointed expressions of repression are reproduced without genuine variation, fixed according to prescribed patterns, standardized, beaten into self denying stereotypical shape. Baby, confessionalism and separation. And I think this is, yeah. Lotus Flower says she going the fuck off. Yes. Yes, she going off. Yes. Confessionalism and separation. This, I think, is going to be the last section that I read. The entire lifetime of a patriarchal woman is a series of confessions. This syndrome does not automatically disappear once a woman becomes a feminist. Even in the process of breaking away from the tracks and tears of the lecherous state, unwary women can be caught in parodies of movement. Oh fuck. Mesmerized by visions of liberation, child. She is going the fuck off. Yes, she is. She is going ham right now. Listen, she said, even in the process of breaking away from the tracks and tears of a lecherous state, unweary women can be caught in parodies of movement, mesmerized by the visions of liberation that are elementary, oh damn, rather than elemental. Women are stopped dead while apparently active. Oh, that. Listen, she said, mesmerized by visions of liberation that are elementary rather than elemental. Women are stopped dead while apparently active. Lotus Flower says she feel judged. Baby, I'm in my feelings right now too. You feel me? I am in my motherfucking feelings right now. Ooh, child. Oh my God. Yo, listen. She said, mesmerized by the visions of liberation. Child, Letitia, if you do not get the fuck out of my head right now, I was just thinking of this damn quote by Mao Zedong that we always used to go into in the movement about so long as one so long as one keeps muddling in one, they go on tolling the bell. Basically, it was a statement about movement for movement's sake. You ain't got no long view. You ain't got no vision. You don't see how your current work is feeding directly into this objective, this goal, this long view. You just chasing ambulances. You understand? This shit jump off, you got a movement. This thing pop off, you got a demonstration. This thing, we call it ambulance chasing. Movement for movement's sake. You just tolling the bell, baby. Tolling the bell. Oh, he says, so as long as one remains a monk, one goes on tolling the bell. So as long as one, that's a quote by Mao Zedong. So as long as one remains a monk, one goes on tolling the bell. Never coloring outside of the lines, never thinking creatively, just doing for the sake of doing. Ooh, there she going off. She says, this happens when the forces that oppress women as women, the fathers who have fabricated phallocracy and who maintain its reign, are not named. One consequence and cause of not naming is immersion in the muck of confessionalism. Many women, I'm through. I can't. I'm done. No. Oh my. I damn. Yo. Yeah, I feel. Listen, I feel exposed right now. You feel me? I feel you, Lotus Flower. I feel exposed. I feel judged. I'm about to have to reevaluate my whole life, child. Oh my God. Poor child. Many women's projects, conferences, workshops have been blighted by this phenomenon and therefore have remained restorationist and elementary, confusing the participants rather than unmasking the masters. Oh, fuck. Damn. She said many women's projects, conferences, workshops have been blighted by this confessionalism, this phenomenon, and therefore have remained restorationist and elementary, confusing the participants rather than unmasking the masters. Damn. Damn. Since in the reversal world of restorationism, confession is hailed as courage, both the denial of one's own personal perceptions, self-censorship, and refusal to name the enemy of the cause of women, can sometimes masquerade as feminist and woman-identified behavior. She said, since in the reversal world of restorationism, confession is hailed as courage, both the denial of one's own perceptions, self-censorship, and refusal to name the enemy of the cause of women can sometimes masquerade as feminist and woman-identified behavior. Horizontally violent behavior is labeled brilliance, and self-denunciation that wins instant gratification is called bravery. Damn. As I have indicated in the foreground, Hannah Arendt analyzes this kind of distortion in her discussion of the self-blame of some young Germans in the 1960s for the atrocities of the Nazis. God damn, wallowing in collective guilt, they avoided confronting institutionally powerful males and genuinely risking their careers. Remember that remember the reading last week where she said it's easier to feel guilty and put that shit on display than it is to risk yourself, to have true courage, to name the enemy of all and hold them accountable. You understand? Yeah. Letitia, girl, if you do not stay out of my damn head, how about, hold on, where did I write that at? Where did I write that at? When I tell you what you just put down here, I wrote a few days ago in the notes. Where is it at? In my little notes off the side, I wrote rewrite the 12-step program. I'm telling you, I literally wrote it in here the other day. Girl, if you don't stay on my damn head, where this at? I got so many written notes. We ain't even in chapter. Wait, are we in chapter 3? Damn. Girl, I just wrote that somewhere. Okay. Listen. Damn. Okay, so she says, wallowing in collective guilt, they avoided confronting institutionally powerful males and risking their careers. In the conservative 1980s, so this book was written in the 80s. In the conservative 1980s, women have fear of men in authority and the temptation to deflect rage against the Sado rulers, turning it against other women, is strong not only among women of the right, but also all too frequently among those who have experienced a passion for justice. She's talking about radicals. She's talking about feminists. Um, I'm writing a note. Hold on. Let's see. Protection by radical males, liberal males, establishment males is the reward for refusal to give priority to the cause of women. This reward, however, is elementary, illusory. In contrast to the German youths who used collective guilt to avoid responsibility for confronting their elders, the reward, however, is elementary and illusory. In contrast to the German youths who use collective guilt to avoid responsibility for confronting their elders and to escape the ensuing penalties, women, as women, are not destined to become the future ruling caste within patriarchal system, but to be victimized by this caste. The reward for false consciousness and conscience for putting other causes before their own is fixation in the state of the sublimated servitude. This could also be called stasis in the stereotypic state. Stereotypic Stereotypic consciousness can invade and prevail even in groups of women who have in many ways separated themselves from the mainstream of straight society, but who lack ongoing, passionate analysis of philocracy. This condition is marked by the refusal to acknowledge the meaning and even the existence in oneself of phallocentric myths and ideologies. Oh, y'all, listen. Listen. She said this condition is marked by the refusal to acknowledge the meaning and even the existence in oneself of phallocentric myths and ideologies, and of the conditioned responses embedded in women's psyches and incarnated in the institutions of gynocide. Such denial of the fact of patriarchal male presence in one's own psyche is substituted for courageous acts of denying such presences access to one's psyche. In other words, the terrifying risk involved in the process of exorcism are avoided at the cost of maintaining a destroyed and restored semblance of female consciousness that has been rehabilitated in the image of its makers. Oh. Moreover, Moreover, women who settle for a partial break from patriarchy while failing to sustain and further the feminist vision, for example, by combining non-traditional lifestyles with the male-identified activism or tokenized professionalism, may be liberated from the onus of the incarnate male presence just sufficiently to lose touch with the real horrors of patriarchy. Thus, even the conditions of physical separation, freedom, which are so important for the development of a radical feminist analysis, are, in the absence of a rigorous elemental thinking, converted into servitude to the patriarchal system. She is going the fuck off, y'all. She going ham. Mere social club, sexually liberated lesbianism, for example, serves the fathers and sons, the ones on the left as well as the ones on the right. feeding into the mechanisms of institutionalized repressive desublimation of which Marcuse wrote years ago. That is, women are kept happy and women are kept happy and truncated, unrebellious existence. Oh, let's see. That is, women are kept happy with truncated, unrebellious existence. As an offshoot of the sexual revolution and permissive paternalism, tamed, contained lesbianism is a byproduct of phallicism. Oh my God. Listen, I gotta go back. I gotta go back and eat this shit by myself. And listen, I'm not saying that I agree with everything that she is writing with this book, but a great majority of it I am. But I have seen and experienced this and could not understand it and could not explain it. What is forgotten in this tamed state is the radical, elemental meaning of woman-identified, self-identified separation. In Gaian ecology, I described radical separation. Quote, it is chronological to conclude that internal separation and separatism, that is, paring away, burning away the false selves encasing the self, is the core of all authentic separations and thus is normative for all personal political decisions about acts and forms of separatism. It is, axiomatic for Amazons that all external, internalized influences such as myths, names, ideologies, social structures, which cut off the flow of the self's original movement should be pared away. End quote. Without this internal burning away of false selves, which is radical separatism, which requires clear analysis, women in all female gatherings and communities uncritically fall into the role of mirroring male-ordered society. Holy damn. Holy damn. It is important to holy damn. It is important to remember that in patriarchy, women are vehicles that incarnate the oh my God. It is important to remember that in patriarchy, meaning while this shit still remains, women are vehicles that incarnate the male presence. This is an essential mode of male incarnation. This woman is fucking me up right now, y'all. The mother who constantly reminds her children that she will tell daddy when he comes home is a classic example. Upon examination, however, it becomes clear that the chief torturers in patriarchy are the invisible fathers. For example, the scientists, the bureaucrats, the generals, the physicians, the psychiatrists who invent and employ lethal weapons, pesticides, pollutants, medicines, and treatments. The invisible executors of the father's orders are often female. The visible executors of the father's orders. Listen, she said these are the invisible fathers. The scientists, the bureaucrats, the generals, the physicians, the psychiatrists who invent and employ lethal weapons, pesticides, pollutants, medicines, and treatments. These are the invisible fathers. The visible executors of the father's orders and will are often female. There are, for example, the pro-nuke women who hand out propaganda in American airports. In the novel and the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, the character of Big Nurse is presented as the powerful ogre, masking the fact that such females are vehicles and not truly in charge. Most spectacularly, women are used to render God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost omnipresent. This is quite a feat, for God is omni-absent. For God is omni-absent. Indeed, according to the Christian doctrine, he is not sense perceptible, not knowable in himself by natural reason. In fact, it requires unnatural reason labeled as supernatural to know adequately about his attributes and to know anything at all about his triunity. Traditionally, mothers of families, nuns, wives of ministers, and wives of rabbis have been the common vehicles of his presence. Priests, ministers, and rabbis are, of course, mostly absent from the everyday, commonplace scenes in which religious beliefs are unofficially preached and perpetuated. Even women's communities sometimes perform this traditional function of perpetuating the patriarchal presence. I'm going to give y'all an example, and this don't make somebody mad, but it is so ever present out here in spaces where males are not present. Spiritual spaces, women's community spaces, in spaces where there are no men present. Patriarchy is present. Patriarch, the holding on to patriarchal beliefs and traditions is present even in the absence of men. You can have 100 women and patriarchy will always and inevitably rear its ugly motherfucking head. You understand? Hold on. Let me tell you about another one. My daughter gave birth to my first grandchild in 2018. My daughter had a pregnant, like a delivery plan, you feel me, and ended up in the hospital, but supposedly a relatively progressive hospital with a birthing pool and all that stuff. They wouldn't do none of that for her. You understand? And it blew my mind. My daughter's OBGYN was a woman. All the orderlies, all the helpers in the maternity ward, women. And in the absence of a single male anywhere, me and my mama had to go toe to toe with these bitches for the 52 hours that my daughter was in labor. Fighting with them like we were fighting men. Wouldn't let her get up off the bed to walk around. Coming in there disturbing her every 30 minutes. I am certain my daughter is still experiencing PTSD from her first delivery. That shit was the most outlandish. And that was my first thought. My goddaughter drove 8 hours overnight to come be with my daughter because my goddaughter is a midwife. So Alasia jumped in the car as soon as Morgan went into labor, drove out so that she could be with us through the delivery process. And Alasia, I thought I was being hard on the nurses. Alasia, who is my daughter's age, was going the fuck in. Don't touch her like that. Get your fucking hands off her. We will call you when we need you. Yeah, like she was going fuck in. But you know, imagine the women and the young girls who do not have people, advocating for them in these scenarios. Even when it came time for Kalani to start breastfeeding, they have a whole breastfeeding assistant, department in this hospital. And we didn't even know it. They didn't even tell us, despite our birth plan, that Morgan was going to breastfeed, that she was perfectly healthy at 24 years old, that we were going to have, that she was going to breastfeed. They terrorized the shit out of her. They were like, well, the baby's blood sugar is low, so we're going to need to give her some formula. And I was like, motherfucking hell, you are not. The baby got low blood sugar because you will not let my baby eat for the last 24 hours. You understand? And so we are like adamant. First of all, you ain't taking the baby out the room. They're coming in, we need to take the baby. You ain't taking the baby no motherfucking way. You ain't taking the baby nowhere. Like, we had to really go toe to toe with women. We never saw a single man other than my baby daddy, my baby's husband. The whole 2 days that we was there, 3 days that we was there, we never saw another man. And in the absence of men, we got to go to war, like we battling men, for my daughter to have somewhat of a decent, delivery experience where she had some semblance of power. Anyway, let's see. It's so pervasive. Anyway, every woman's community, let's see. This has sometimes been manifested in women's only events, especially when these events have lent themselves to. It's like I was psychic, like I knew what she was about to say. She says, This has sometimes been manifested in women's only events, especially when these events have lent themselves to ritualistic behavior. There's something else I want to tell y'all, but I'm gonna, because you know what? Whatever. So there's an event that I had been volunteering. I made up my mind I wasn't going to volunteer this year because of something that happened to me there last year. But every year since I've been in California that they've been holding it, I have been volunteering for this event. And one of the things that always struck me, but it is not my event, it is not my place. It is an event of Native people, and so I go into the space as a volunteer. No, no opinion, no nothing. I go there because I support Native people when I have the opportunity to. And so for 4 days every year, I would volunteer for this event. But it always made me uneasy because the first 2 years that I volunteered, I was on my cycle, I was on my moon. And they have a strict policy. This is an event centered around the transferring of stories of elder natives to the group. So they record the stories and these are indigenous elders from all over. They've had people from New Zealand, they've had people from South America. Like they feature indigenous people from all over the world, right? Storytelling, so these stories aren't lost. They record them. It's a really wonderful event. First 2 years that I volunteered, I couldn't participate in 90% of the event because I was on my moon. Okay, so what they do is they set up what they call a moon lodge or a moon tent off the cut somewhere, like a motherfucking leper colony, literally, like so far off from the main events. It's an all outdoor event, so far off from the main events that we were always complaining about. Like, y'all need to compensate for that. Like, at least have speakers or sound systems set up near the tent so that we can at least hear what's happening during these workshops and these lectures and these storytellings. Last year was the first year I ever went where they had a speaker set up so we could actually hear throughout the day what was happening. So the first 2 years that I went, I was on my moon. And so I, like a lot of other, there was like 13 women that were on their moon. The first 2 years that I volunteered, several of the volunteers were on their moon. The main organizer was on her moon. So we all are confined to these spaces. Baby, let me tell you, it was so deep because we were doing sunrise and sunset sweat lodges all 4 days. So you get up, do sweat before the sun goes down. After the event ends, do sweat. You feel me? You cannot sweat when you are on your moon. They have 3 lodges set up. They have a women's lodge, they have a men's lodge, and they have a co-ed lodge, right? And then they have an arbor set up where all the events happen. And you cannot sweat while you're on your moon. You can't go into the sweat lodge when you're on your moon. All the other ceremonies that were happening, like the bear dance and like this other thing that was happening, you can't participate in because the traditional line or theory among most Native cultures is that, at least North American Native cultures, is that the moon is the time for the woman to be away from the group because she's in her own ceremony. This is the pretty, narrative that shrouds this, what I am certain is a patriarchal tradition, or at least corrupted patriarchally. The woman has to be away from the group because her personal ceremony is so powerful, it can make everybody else sick. Her period can make everybody else sick. I used to do this woman's hair who was a Hebrew Israelite. I used to do her locks. And when she first started coming to me, she's like, I just want you to promise me that whenever you are on your moon, you will tell me, and I will, if it corresponds with my when it corresponds with her appointment, that she will reschedule her appointment. I was like, okay. And she could tell that I was like, puzzled by this request. And she said, well, in my tradition, you cannot be touched by a woman on her menstrual cycle, especially not your hair, because her hands, because she's on her cycle, are like battery acid. That was a quote. That was a quote by an elder, this woman about 20 years older than I am. She's like, so just make sure you tell me when you're on your moon, because I don't need your hands in my hair, because your hands is like battery acid. Yeah, so the first 2 years that I volunteered for this event, I was on my moon, so I could participate in any of the activities, none of the activities. And they were so diligent about it, I was like dumbfounded. But I was like, this y'all thing, y'all been doing this shit since 92 or something. They had, caution tape and the orange, like the big cones, the big orange street markers. They had caution tape and big orange street markers all over the site, which is enormous. It's an old Navy base. All over the site. And wherever caution tape and cones were, women on their moon couldn't pass. Women on the moon couldn't pass. The cones and the caution tape. Make this shit up. I will continue. Listen, she said this. Even women's communities sometimes perform this traditional function of perpetuating the patriarchal presence. This has sometimes been manifested in women's only events, especially when these events have lent themselves to ritualistic behavior, lacking an adequate understanding of the state of society and its effects upon their own consciousness and behavior. Women in these situations have sometimes responded to the condition of physical absence of males by assuming the traditional feminine function of incarnating the male presence described above. Oh. The gathering then becomes divided into sides. Some assume the male role and put other women down into a victim role. Others accept or have forced upon them the victimized stance. The male role players frequently have used such tactics as accusation of a serious fault. For example, some political incorrectness concerning racism. Listen. The male role players frequently have used such tactics as accusations of a serious fault. For example, some political incorrectness concerning racism or classism or oppression of the handicapped. This accused must then choose whether to fight back, withdraw, or give the desired response of self-accusation, confession. Groups in which such behavior predominates are pseudo-cognitive minorities of women. In fact, they are doing exactly what is prescribed by the moral majority of maledom in the society of sado-sublimation. The participators in this phenomenon have compliantly reproduced mirror reflections of omnipresent patriarchal totalism. Such unreflective reflections have served, such unreflective reflections have served patriarchal purposes only too well. Discouraged by horizontal violence, many women have lost sight of the validity and importance of creative women's spaces. Damn, if this ain't a word, y'all. This ain't a word. We gonna have to come back and on this little section on page 145 because the great cosmic mother Barbara Moore has a lot to say about this. As I have shown in the foreground, the phenomena of the totalistic environment was analyzed by Robert J. Lifton in the early 60s in his study of thought reform in China. Although Lifton does not identify this phenomena as an essential feature of patriarchy, some of his points are applicable in the infestation of totalism that functions to dismember the feminist movement from without and from within. Lifton writes of the cult of confession as a characteristic of the totalistic thought reform environment. Quote, the assumption underlying total exposure is the environment's claim to total ownership of each individual self within it. Private ownership of the mind and its products. Oh my God. Private ownership of the mind and its products of imagination or of memory become highly immoral. Did y'all hear what I just said? What? Listen. Go back to, did y'all hear what I just said? Okay? She's talking about the cult of confession as a characteristic of totalistic thought reform environment. The assumption underlying total exposure is the environment's claim to total ownership of each individual within itself. Y'all hear what I'm saying? She says the environment, or he says the environment. But what is he talking about? The state, those in power, the church. The environment's claim to total ownership of each individual self within it. Private ownership of your mind and whatever your mind produces, whether of the imagination or of memory, becomes highly immoral. Private ownership of yourself becomes highly immoral in this environment. What does that remind you of? Maybe a month ago, probably a little more than a month ago, what I did a video, go back to it, called Black Erasure. I did a video called Black Erasure. And part of what I talked about was the commodification of human beings. When we start talking about appropriation and all of this stuff, right, we still make it this very shallow, superficial phenomena, cultural appropriation, and shit like that. I was talking specifically at one point about this tendency, and unfortunately, we haven't done enough to give young people the words and the understanding to articulate their frustration when they see a white boy rapper or a white girl soul singer who pops off and makes more money in their art, in their art genre, than a young Black person would, and they mediocre at best, but they good for a white boy or they good for a white girl. And people being intuitively angry and frustrated by that, but not having the political language and the historical context to explain and articulate their frustration and their rage. That what they are experiencing is still outright colonial conquest of human beings, the commodification of human beings. And if you are owned by the state, if you are owned by the system, if you are owned by the empire, there is nothing that you produce that you actually own, at least as far as they're concerned. That's why they can culturally appropriate. That's why you still got white girls wearing Native American headdresses, even though people been complaining for 30 years. Don't do that. That's fucked up. That ain't your culture. Like, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? Why you wearing cornrows, bitch, when you don't rally for Black women being able to be seen as fully human and having access when they wear the hairstyle, but you get put forward as awesome and trendy and cutting edge when you do it. You feel me? It is the commodity. That's why white people in particular, but not exclusively, feel entitled to everything that we produce. Right here in 1983, they said that this was a tactic and strategy of the ruling environment. This specifically talking about the thought reform movement in China, reforming people's thoughts so that they don't get the idea that they have a right to benefit from their own thoughts and their own memories. Your memories don't belong to you. Your thoughts don't belong to you. The products of your imagination don't belong to you. And then they religiousize it. They spiritualize it. Now it becomes immoral, this thing that you seek, sovereignty, autonomy. Child, the assumption underlying total exposure is the environment's claim to total ownership of each individual self within it. Private ownership of the mind and its products, of imagination and of memory, becomes highly immoral. You have to guilt you out of this need that you have, this deep intuitive need to rebel, this deep intuitive need to speak your truth, this deep intuitive need to remember what has been taken from you. Child, this could be reworded as follows, quote, the assumption underlying the demand that women totally expose themselves, confess, is the lecherous state's claim to total ownership of each individual woman within it. Private ownership by a woman of her mind and its creations of imagination and memory become highly immoral. This is the world described in George Orwell's 1984, in which nobody ever failed to confess, and in which there was fear, hatred, and pain, but no dignity of emotion or deep or complex sorrows. In the state of lechery in which women are the property of males, women's bodies and minds are allowed no other acts than acts of confession in phallocratic beliefs, and confession of self-loathing. Universally, the confessionalism imposed upon women takes the form of prostitution on all levels. Within Christendom, the cult of confession took the form of a sacrament which required that women bare their souls to a male priest, accusing themselves of male-defined sins. In the course of the witch craze in Western Europe, occasioned in part by the rise of professionalism in the early modern period, untold numbers of women were forced by means of torture to confess to the crime of practicing witchcraft. That is natural religion and healing. The modern professions have included. Oh my God, y'all! I am experiencing this right now. I got another story to tell y'all. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Listen, in modern professions have included enforced male confessions as a primary tool. Total exposure is the rule, illustrated in the questioning of rape victims in court, of patients in hospitals and in psychiatric clinics, and in the exposure of women's bodies to experimentation of all kinds. Such total exposure means, in reality, total closure, hiding of a woman's elemental self, and the breakdown and restoration of that which is accessible to the professional rehabilitators. Let me tell you what's happening. I am in the process of getting certified to practice massage in California. Okay. I have been licensed in another state, effortlessly licensed, okay, since 2010. All right. Same requirements: background check, FBI, local and state, and FBI background check. Okay. This process of me getting a certificate, this ain't even a license, child. California don't even license you. Just a certification to practice massage has been a pain in my ass. Like, why? The bureaucracy she was talking about earlier. Why something so simple? Once you see that my hours line up, that I went to school where I said I went to school, like, can we keep it simple, make it plain? You feel me? But this thing has been a pain in my ass now for 6 weeks. So they get everything that they need. I get an email late Friday, so it's too late for me to call and cuss somebody the fuck out, that even though I paid $80 for a background check, fingerprinting and background check, local, state, and federal, that now I have to do an additional background check because there was a spot on my FBI background check. And I was like, well, what's the purpose of the background check if there's a spot on the background check and you still need another background check? It was a federal background check. She was like, well, what it is, so the FBI background check that we do, that the first one that you do, just tells us if it's clear or if there's a mark. It doesn't tell us when or what it was. So now you have to go to the FBI yourself and do a personal fingerprinting. That's another $80, where they actually give you your rap sheet. So let me just tell you, my rap sheet, and then, so on top of getting the second FBI background check and a printout of my rap sheet that I have to go directly to the FBI for, and then have them mail it to me, and then I have to mail it to the massage board, right? They're like, and then we want you to write a personal statement of your memory of what might be on the FBI mark, and so we can just see what you have to say about these circumstances. I said, what? I said, first of all, y'all did a whole background check, so you know that I haven't committed any crimes in the state of California. I haven't committed any crimes in the state of Florida because I had my license since 2010. They did the same background check. And then and I'm telling me there's just some random mark on my FBI background, but y'all can't see it, so I have to do another $80 background check so that you can get my rap sheet, which is me being arrested at 19 and then 20 years old for writing a bad check for $20. I don't think either one of the checks was more than $20. And for shoplifting baby clothes. And the amount of baby clothes that I shoplifted at 20, I think I was 21 or 22, was so little. The amount of the shoplifting of the baby clothes was so little that I got 3 months probation. You feel me? But so this whole thing about professional confessionalism as a means of, again, tying women down. I'm just saying, I'm experiencing this in real time. I just cussed this woman out on the phone yesterday. I said, now anyway, so let me continue and then I'm going to quit. You feel me? What does it say? The whole purpose is to break down or close off the woman's elemental self and break her down in restoration of that which is accessible to the professional rehabilitators. Given these conditions, it is not surprising that women's communities or groups sometimes reflect the professional rituals of the cult of confession. What did I just describe to y'all? I need you to write a personal statement of your memory of what infractions the FBI might have noticed before we even get the FBI results. I was like, are you kidding me? And then explain each one. Those who succumb to the cultic demands deny themselves and each other private ownership of their own minds and creations. The reward for this behavior is in part described by Lifton, the continuing opportunity for emotional catharsis and for relief of suppressed guilt feelings. In addition, quote, the sharing of confession enthusiasms can create an orgiastic sense of oneness, of the most intense intimacy with fellow confessors, and of the dissolution of self into the great flow of the movement? The hell you say, end quote. When this behavior takes over among women, an occasion is provided for the denial of the fact of subliminal phallic presence and for failure to exercise phallocentric beliefs and behaviors. In this case, women's groups and gatherings are totaled by the tactics of totalism, manipulated and manifested, end quote. And that's where I'm going to stop. That's where I'm going to stop for tonight, because I still got to come back and do this reading at 9:36. So for those of you who are tuning in late, or this is your first time, we are reading from the book Pure Lust, Elemental Feminist Philosophy by Mary Daly. Pure Lust, Elemental Feminist Philosophy by Mary Daly. We'll continue that reading tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll see if I can be disciplined about my interventions. I will be back tonight at 9:36 p.m. for, like I said yesterday, every day this week, I'm going to do a reading at 9:36 p.m. because this week is monumental. This week is big. I want us to prepare. Today is the 1010 portal. Today, Pluto Station Direct. This is big, monumental energy. I want to keep you disciplined, to keep your mind off the bullshit. Sidestep the bullshit this week, because there's a lot of bullshit. And I feel there's more coming down the pipe this week because of this Pluto stationing direct. But power up. You know, we've got Friday the 13th, which Venus is ruling, which Venus rules. That's happening Friday. We have the annular solar eclipse happening on Saturday. It's just a big week, and I want you to power up. So tonight, 9:36 p.m., I will be doing a reading. The reading is going to be a tarot reading. I may, if people are interested. I think people really appreciated the the I Ching. I'm trying to get reacquainted. It's been a long time since I've pulled the I Ching, but if people are interested in the I Ching, they can request it. So I'll be doing divination tonight at 9:36 p.m. $11 a question. Each person can ask up to 3 questions. And I'll be back at 9:36 for that. So keep yourself tied to me. Thank everybody for riding out with me. These comments give me life. You understand? These comments give me life. Thank you so much. My email address is releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. If you're interested in a complete reading, a 30-minute or a 30-minute or 1 hour reading. If you're interested in a wellness consultation, a complete wellness consultation, which is also an hour, email me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com for details about that. And until 9:36 p.m., I will see you later.